What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Engineers of Filters podcast, episode 140. I'm your host, Jacob Thompson, and tonight got a special brew. We're going to talk about the cider squeeze this episode, but before I left Michigan, I made sure to get a nice haul of brewskis. So I got me a nice KBC Widowmaker, baby. Have not had this for a very long time. I'm excited to get back into it. I have a bar sign of it actually right there on my shot, if you can see it.
The edge of the frame.
Edge of the frame, but yeah, back on it, baby.
Nice.
Then I'm Joseph, and I have Bald Man Brewing Misty Mountain Hops IPA.
Ooh, I like that can.
Yeah, it's a nice soft purple
Nice.
design. And it's a local Minnesota brewery that I found today. Because, well, also when I was in Michigan, I did buy some beer, planning to bring it home. Promptly forgot it when I left. So I was going to be having a B43, but that's not here with me. So
Yeah, when I was leaving, I brought myself my car, and I was gonna come back inside to say goodbye. And I saw the cooler in the garage. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I gotta grab my beer." And I was like, "I wonder if Joseph and Gabe remembered to grab their stuff."
I left mine as a token.
Mm,
Oh, thank
little
you.
treat.
Yeah. I'm sure Jan fucking loves Coors Banquet in a stubby bottle. I'm sure
I'm gonna
she's
be
like,
drinking
"Fuck
that.
yes."
I'm gonna be drinking that when I go
That
home for
Christmas.
Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Thanksgiving. Yeah, there you go.
What are you drinking tonight, Gabe?
The best beer is a free beer, but you know what the next best beer is a cold one, and this is the only one that was left in my fridge from my trip, before my trips. So Miller High Life, it's pretty cold.
And that's the review. It's cold.
That's what I want. It was that or warm beer, so
Yeah, I mean,
The
you
cold
don't have
one
an
wins.
option there.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I'm kind of in the same boat as Gabe here, where this is the one cold beer that I had in the fridge because I put it in the fridge at 6 o'clock tonight, and it's another PBR.
Yeah.
Will I
Oh my
ever
God.
get through the first level of this 30 rack? I don't know.
Speaking of 30 Rex, I was on YouTube today, as I often am, and I saw Unemployed Wine Guy post a video doing Keystone Light, and he pulled up a 30 rack of it and opened it and just all spilled out onto the counter because the cans are like horizontal in there. It was very funny. Would recommend. But yeah, welcome back to the podcast, everyone. As always, you can find our show on YouTube and podcast services. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitch. Those links are in the description. You can also send us questions if you want to. ebfpodcast@gmail.com if you're feeling frisky. But yeah, this episode we're mostly talking about the cider squeeze. But before that, let's do just a quick anecdote update for anything else that happened you guys might want to talk about. I can go first. Now, if you're a video watcher, you might be wondering, hey, Jacob, are you wearing your MeUndies onesie right now? The answer is yes. All right, no more questions. All right, I wanted to feel comfy. Got a nice blanket on my lap. We're feeling good tonight, boys.
quick ad break for the
Ad break from our
MeUndies
sponsors,
onesies.
But yeah, so update on my acid reflux stuff I talked about last week. I got my test results back for that stomach infection I did. I'm negative, which, pros and cons. Pro, don't have an infection. Con, don't have an easy solution to my issues. So I'm back on protein pump inhibitors for the time being, and we'll see if I can wean off of those at some point. But I was telling Joseph this weekend, I think one of my main problems where I was getting a lot of flare-ups was from salsa, because I usually have salsa for lunch when I'm home. So if I cut salsa out, I think I might be okay. Because like this weekend, when I was like drinking a decent amount and eating a bunch of stuff, I was pretty much fine. So I
What
think
if it's just one food this whole time? And you
I
just
mean-
fucking love salsa because it's salsa.
Yeah,
You
well, because
know?
that's the thing, Gabe. Is like I eat it pretty often, or at least I did, and it has like all of the red flags. It has
Mhm.
tomatoes, onions, bell peppers, and it's spicy.
It's pretty
It's like-
acidic, yeah.
Yeah, so and tomatoes are the thing that's like the main trigger. Like I think a couple weeks ago I made lasagna because I'm a fucking idiot, and that was not smart because it's like all tomato sauce and I had like spicy sausage in there. So I see a little bit smarter about my dietary decisions. I think I'll be okay, but Besides that, I ordered my Pixel 6 today. Very excited. The MKBHD review finally fucking came out yesterday. I've been waiting for it for weeks at this point. And he's like, yeah, it's pretty good. I'm like, cool, I'm getting it. So yeah, finally getting a new phone in a few weeks when it comes in. And then the other thing I want to pimp out, all right? It's Halloween season, spooky season. As when you're listening to this, it'll be the day after Halloween. But if you're in the mood for some Halloween music, okay, I gotta pimp Brian David Gilbert, all right?
Oh my god. So good.
It's so good. Okay, so he released a ABBA parody album that is 5 ABBA songs, but sung by Halloween characters and like changing the lyrics slightly to fit this theme. For example, first song he released was "Lay Your Love on Me," but it's a vampire, so it's "Lay Your Blood on Me." He did "Gimme, Gimme, Gimme a Man After Midnight" by Victor Frankenstein. You can see the joke there. Stuff like that. I would highly recommend this shit on YouTube. Look up Brian David Gilbert. The songs are absolutely fantastic, super funny and well produced. Highly recommend it. Go check them out. Joseph, did you watch any other ones besides the one I sent you?
Well, so I actually watched it before you sent me. I was ahead of the curve.
Dude, the TV is just recommending it over and over again right now.
I know. I mean, I keep rewatching it. I
Tim
can't
and
stop
I were
watching
trying to watch a video earlier, and it was just like a whole section dedicated to this EP.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Lay All Your Love on Me is the best one because that's the one that has a full music video with
It
it,
does have a full music video.
whereas the other ones don't. So that
Mhm.
I was hoping they were all gonna have like full music videos, and I understand why they don't.
Mhm.
But yeah, you got to start with Lay All Your Love on Me, and then I don't know. Did
Go
he release them
downhill
on like
from
Spotify or anything?
They just came
too?
out on Spotify yesterday night, I
Okay.
think.
I thought I
Um,
saw him tweet something like that. So
The EP is called ABBA, like AAAH exclamation point BBA. Hilarious. I think my favorite one is the Frankenstein one. Because I think he changes the lyrics in a way that are just really fucking funny. I think it's the funniest one of all the concepts. And it's just like "Give Me a Man After Midnight" by Frankenstein. That's just a great joke.
and I think that's probably the one I know best, like
Mhm.
outside of obviously these Halloween
Like
things.
the
So like
original.
yeah, so it's like okay, I know what words should be there, so it's fun,
Yeah.
more fun to see like what he does change and what he does with it.
I mean, we played that song all the time at our house,
Mhm.
Yeah.
at our parties. So
The fucking
Uh,
bop.
it's a bop. I will say I didn't know I think I'd heard the song "Under Attack" before, that he parodied, and it's a banger. He did "Under Attack" by a Murderous Robot. Um, yeah, it's a good time. Dayton, I think you'll like him I think you're a pretty big ABBA fan, so
I do
you
like
gotta check
ABBA.
this
I
shit
mean,
out.
who
Yeah.
who isn't?
That's a good point. Everyone fucking loves ABBA. But yeah, that's my update. Gabe, you have a soccer story you wanted to tell?
Yeah, but first I want to shout out my sweatshirt or my cozy situation to our
Mhm.
landlord
Oh my
who
God.
hasn't fixed our fucking heat in
Okay, hold
almost a
on.
week.
He obviously it's late to mid fall in Minnesota. Everyone's turning their heat on. He sent me an email, and I didn't realize until today that he sent it just to me. I thought it went to
He
the
doesn't
rest
know
of-
what the reply all button is. This grown fucking man never sends it to all three of us. I
It's
swear
honestly
he types
a
it in individually.
50-50 chance whether any one of who sees the email. Like
We've
it's
gotten the full gamut where like at least one of us has been left out multiple times.
yeah.
Lord.
But anyway, so we have an appoint or like we have a guy scheduled to come fix our heat on the 3rd. So we got
After it hits
Couple days.
25.
Wait, the
low
3rd of
this-
November?
Yeah.
yeah.
That's like
We
5 days from now.
Tim sent out the email when we were like at the cider squeeze on Saturday. Like it's it's gonna be over a week.
Good. Is this
He
like just not
said-
turning on?
It's
Well,
just
it's-
upstairs.
Yeah.
And this issue started like when we first moved in, and I think he just kind of band-aided it, and it just came back. So I'm cold. That's what I'm trying to get at.
I'm
That
warm
sucks.
down here in the basement, so
That's
I'm
good.
not sure complaining about it.
I'm happy that you're comfortable.
I also have a nice candle burning here to help
Mm.
keep me warm.
If
Yeah.
I can interrupt quickly, Gabe, I also have a heating story. Because
Sure,
when I
go
got
for it.
home, from the cider squeeze on Sunday afternoon, I walk in, my apartment's like 62. I'm like, all right, finally time to turn on the heat this season. First time turning on. Hit the buttons. I hear it start. And I'm like, okay, and I held my hand to the vent to make sure it was getting hot, and it was. I'm like, great. I start to smell a little something. It wasn't smoke, but it was like smoke adjacent. And I'm like,
Mm.
that doesn't smell great. And then my smoke alarm went off. And I'm like, God fucking damn it. So I hit the smoke alarm to mute it, and I turn off the heat and everything. I was like, it's Sunday, I'm cold. So I looked up the maintenance emergency number and I called them like, hey, so I just got back from a week of being away, turned the heat on for the first time, and it kind of smelled, and then the smoke alarm went off. Should I be freaking out right now? Like, what's the deal? And the guy's like, yeah, it's pretty normal. Like, it was probably just some, like, dust or something that was vaporizing or just some shit. Smoke alarm doesn't usually go off though, but you'll be fine. And I'm like, okay. Turn it back on, and then it was fine. It smelled weird, but the smoke alarm didn't go off again. But I was just like, I don't need this right now. Okay, I really don't need this. I just want to get warm after this weekend. I want to relax. Fucking smoke alarm goes off. Oh my god. Anyway, sorry, kid.
No, you're all good. All right, so the soccer game. Dayton, I'm gonna just describe this feeling. You know when you do really good at soccer and you just get that high that you just ride all fucking day?
Yeah.
I still been riding it today because here's what happened. All right, this was the championship match of our. This is not a competitive league, by the way.
It's already the championships. I feel like you just started.
Well, because I jumped in halfway through the season.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the next season starts next week. But yesterday was the last game of this season that I jumped in on, and we somehow made it to the championships in our pool. I'm gonna preface this: it's not like any of us are like super great. This is a co-ed like rec league. You know, people are mostly there to have fun, but you know, winning's fun. So you try and win. So we get to the soccer game, and this team's pretty good. Obviously, I make it to a championship game, and I catch a little wind. This is just gonna be a play-by-play of this game. If you guys don't like soccer, just hit like the 10-second button a bunch. We catch wind that the goalie is late and that they have a temp goalie. So we all kind of do the whisper thing before the kickoff, like destroy him, you know, like let's ruin his fucking
as many
day
shots on goal as we possibly could get.
as early as fucking possible. Okay.
Yeah.
So 5 minutes in, we have 2 goals. I got some like easy redirect that he just like didn't come out on, and like another one, like you could tell he just didn't play goalie. He was a field player, and
Yeah.
felt a little bad, but it's like kind of want to win. So then the goalie shows up, and he's got like the whole kit and like the bandana on his head, and I'm like, fuck, he's gonna be good. Guys, this guy's insane. He just like brick house. He's just blocking fucking everything. I swear to God, this guy's so good. And then he brings 2 other people with him. And this guy had the largest foot or leg muscles ever humanly possible, because he gets on the field for like, I'm not joking, 15 seconds, takes a shot probably like, I don't know, 10 feet, not even 4 to 6 feet past half, rockets it. And our goalie's like played goalie in college, just upper 90, boom, goal, just casual 15 seconds in. And we're like, oh, fuck. So by halftime, it's 2-4. They just scored four goals. Like,
Yeah.
boom. We're like, oh, shit. So you get in halftime, and we're like, okay, let's regroup. Let's try and figure this out.
Make a plan.
So, yep. So then I go back out, and then we kind of decide that it's like me and these 2 other girls are going to be on offense, and they're like super good. Like there's a lot of like, what's the word? Like they know how to make runs, and like we were making similar runs, and like we just kind of gel really well as players. So we put all 3 of us up front. Kind of a weak defense, to be honest. We're like, let's see what we can do. Boom.
Like they're gonna score anyway at this point.
Yeah.
No matter who's on defense.
Exactly. Because this guy like is so good, he can score from half, and it's so fast. So boom, one girl gets a goal with assists from the other 2. The other girl gets a goal from the assist from the other 2. I make a goal from the assist the other 2. We're up 5-4, baby. All right. We're like, okay, we can fucking do this. We just turn this shit around. Big powerhouse fucker walks onto the field, fucking scores a goal, 5-5. Like, are you fucking kidding me? At one point, you know how like Dayton, when you see someone that's like really good, you kind of focus them. Or you're like, all right, you're a little too good. we'll put 2 guys on you. I accidentally, I think this was a completely not on purpose, bodied him. Like, no ball, like completely like tackled him. I thought I was gonna get a card, but I was like, man, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't mean to, like, whatever, and it was fine. So, bullet dodged. There's fucking 7 minutes left in the game, and someone drops it back to net or to their last defender, and she stumbles on it. I'm like, oh, that's a fucking mistake. So I like sprint after her, and then she like kind of fumbles with it. I like barely get it free, and then it's just me and the goalie, right? And I'm like, here it goes, butthole clenched. The ball's like got this weird spin because I like won it awkwardly, and that's just sometimes how it works. So hit it with my right foot. I'm a lefty, and I swear to God, slow motion, side spin, hits the right post and bounces in like barely. Boom, 6-5, baby. All right, 6-5. And then the goalie's like, Gabe, get on defense. We got to fucking lock this shit down. Anytime I got the ball, I fucking booted that shit. I'm like, get this shit.
Get out of here. Just get out of here.
I'm burning time. I'm doing all the dumb shit. Like, oh, let me go get the ball.
Oh my god.
The garbage, right? We win the fucking game. I came out with a hat trick and the fucking breakaway winning goal. I couldn't sleep last night. I was just so excited. Oh man, it felt so good. I just,
hell yeah,
can't wait
dude.
to play more soccer. It just feels so good.
I'll be honest. When you first were saying, you're kind of bullying that goalie in the beginning, glad you did now. Because they had the
real goalie, we would have lost 100%. That other goalie was really good. But yeah, I mean, they were awesome people. Like, we're all joking around during the game and stuff, and it wasn't like too serious, but it was still like competitive. Like
right.
Both teams were equal, so it made it a lot of fun.
Yeah, so that's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
Glad to hear
so good. Cloud9.
Joseph, do you have anything you want to talk about?
Trying to think. Nothing crazy. I mean, obviously just the squeeze. So, I mean,
Okay,
nothing too far outside of that.
We'll get to that. And Dayton?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of eventful this week. Both
Okay.
both good and bad stuff. So I guess I'll do it chronologically. So if I swear, whenever I want to go back to Connecticut after being home, my flights always get fucked up. Always. So, sitting there, Sunday afternoon, and flight is supposed to leave Grand Rapids at like 6 o'clock or something. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, we'll leave my house at like 3:30. It'll be fine. Get a notification on my watch at like noon. It gets delayed 30 minutes. And I'm like, whatever, 30 minutes, that's fine. My layover is like, in like an hour or something like that. For like the next flight. And then I get another notification, and then it got delayed another like 15-20 minutes, and I'm like, son of a bitch, like that's kind of pushing it really close to the next one. And then literally as we're about to leave, I'm like reaching up into like the cover to grab my wallet out. My watch vibrates again. I look at my watch and it says, your flight has been delayed to 7:45. And I am just like, I literally just like, I was like, son of a bitch. So then like I pull it up on my phone, and it turns out that was for the second flight. So it just gave me a little bit more time for like my layover.
Oh, okay.
So, get to Grand Rapids Airport, fly out, no real issues, real turbulent landing, but nothing that sketchy. And sitting there in Midway, find my nice little terminal. Concourse C, if you're ever in Midway, Concourse C is like always empty. Always go there. There's like 2 people there. That's my travel hack. But so I'm sitting there and I'm just like reading, munching away on some Chex Mix that my sister had made for me. And time comes to go board. So I walk over there and I'm just like standing there for like 20 minutes or so. And I'm like, man, are we gonna like start boarding? Like people are like queued to board the plane. and
Right.
I'm looking at my watch, and like, flight is supposed to depart at like 7:45, and it's like 7:40, and like we haven't even started boarding. So I'm like, well, we're not gonna leave on time. Like I already I already knew that. So so then, that 7:45 goes and passes, and then the flight attendant or whoever, like the gate attendant, gets on the thing. He's like, all right, yeah, it'll be like another like 30 minutes or so. We're waiting for some bad weather to pass. And I'm like, that's what they always fucking say. Like I was just like, buckle up, dude. Like this is gonna get fucking stupid soon. So then,
Want to see me do it again?
yeah. So 30 minutes pass, and he's like, all right, change of plans. We're actually moving gates. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, why are we moving gates right now? So, so the entire plane's worth of people at this gate all get up and start moving to this gate, right? And so it's just a huge fucking mess of people all traveling in a glob. And we get to the gate, and we still don't have like a time for when like we're gonna take off. He was just like, yeah, I'll give you an announcement like when it gets closer. So we end up waiting there for another like 45 minutes. So at this point it's like
Lord.
it's like 9, I think it's like 9:30ish. No, I think it was 9 by the time we boarded. So then we get on the plane. It's rainy as shit out, really windy, and we we depart from the jet bridge, and we get into the queue to take off. We're sitting there for like 30 minutes waiting to take off, and the pilot's like, yeah, so right now Midway's down to one landing strip or whatever the hell it's called, for both takeoffs and arrivals. So I was just like,
God.
seriously, like, how do I always end up in these fucking shitty situations? So we end up taking off at like 9:30, and it's like a 2-hour flight. So this is 9:30 Chicago time, and 2-hour flight. So that puts me at 12:30 Monday morning, and
So I have an
and,
hour to drive back.
so like a 45-minute drive back. And I'm just like, oh my god, like this seriously fucking sucks. I was literally supposed to get back at like 10:30. Like but I mean, other than that, pretty uneventful ride home. It was just really fucking shitty. I just really hope that, I can travel to and from one time with no hiccups. Just once. That's all I'm asking for. Just one time.
Well, the weather has been, I mean, the last weekend and before has been so bad. It's been just raining constantly. I mean, the East Coast and the Midwest too. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, our
Yeah.
entire drive back,
It was rain.
the entire, but most of it was, and there was a couple parts where it got really bad. So
Mhm.
I can't imagine flying. I mean,
Yeah.
granted, that was a couple hours before then, but yeah,
Right. Yeah.
I see why stuff was delayed.
Yeah. So then, land, and then Monday, nothing really happened. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, we got hit with a nor'easter, which is just like, it's just like a big fucking storm, essentially. Like high winds, a lot of rain, really cold. So during that storm, my motorcycle ended up getting pushed over by the wind. So fell over on its side while I was at work. Busted the mirror, bent the brake lever, kind of messed up my rear fairing, and bent my rear blinker, my right rear blinker. So that was pretty fucking shitty. But in terms of good things that have happened this week, I made seitan for the first time, and that was like really easy and really good. It's made using Vital Wheat gluten. So turned out amazing, taste fucking fantastic.
What's seitan for anybody listening?
I
who
thought you were
doesn't
gonna
know?
say
Also,
insane. I'm not gonna
yeah.
lie.
it's so like Vital Wheat gluten, which is basically just like, I guess you can make it by like just kneading flour a lot and then like rinsing it. But it's just like the protein that's left over from flour. So it's like a really protein dense flour essentially. So a lot of it, and it ends up making like a dough when you make it with water, and then you end up like boiling it or steaming it, and then you pan fry it to give it some like crispiness. but yeah, so it's a good source of protein for people who have a plant-based diet, and it tastes fucking fantastic. Like I was actually surprised at how well it turned out.
What does it taste like? Is it similar to anything?
Well, it depends on how you season it. The
Grilled
consistent
cheese.
no, not grilled cheese. I don't even know what the consistency is just
I
kind of like dough. Like
I've seen a lot of recipes use it as like a chicken substitute,
yeah.
like just a
Oh, interesting.
chicken finger substitute type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like kind of a, it's kind of from what I've seen. I don't know how. And granted, this is like TikTok recipes that
Mhm.
Melissa has shown me. And it's like shredded or like kind of pull apart. Just kind of, I don't know,
Mhm.
chicken, and then you season it however you would, and just kind of a
Yeah. Yeah, like a lot of
stand
people
and kinda
make
do.
fake like chicken wings with them. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, so that was good. And then I got notification yesterday that I won a $200 Home Depot gift card. So
Ooh, baby.
that was through like a work like exercise sweepstake where like basically the more that you exercise and like if you track like calories and sleep and stuff, you get more entries into the sweepstake. So
So you had half the entries.
well, I don't know how many I had, but all I know is that I'm $200 richer in Home Depot bucks. So
Did that
they-
start before you started your whole ultra training?
it was definitely during it because it was Q3, so they break it up into like quarters of the year.
Okay.
So I think what Q3 is, that would be July, August, September, right?
Yeah.
So it definitely caught a lot of physical activity for me.
Jesus.
It caught the tail end of my ultra training, my ultra, Isle Royal, and then beginning of my mile training plan, and then it caught a whole bunch of mountain biking as well.
So you did all that mountain biking recently.
Yeah, so I was just like cranking through points. So I'm like really excited for this Home Depot gift card. I'm gonna get some
Well, yeah,
nice
what-
Milwaukee power tools.
Do you know if they sell mirrors or blinkers for motorcycles?
I wish.
Absolute savage.
I wish.
Dayton, have you seen so Joseph has Alyssa showed you TikToks for Dayton? Have you seen any reels with people like using the Home Depot theme song? Because that shit cracks me the fuck up. The Home Depot theme song is so iconic, and just the way people use it is hilarious.
Well, wasn't it like an actual song before Home Depot like bought? Well, then
Oh, like out the I don't know.
I think it's like an actual song. I don't think it was like made for Home Depot. It just fits very well.
Could
Yeah.
not tell you. But yeah,
It'd be like dad building the deck, and the dad's out there in his New Balances, the tucked in shirt, and he's like looking around. It's like, it's so fucking funny.
Yeah, the fucking bell or whatever it is.
Ding, ding. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Okay, it's an original jingle.
Okay.
Bop, boom, boom, boom,
It-
bop,
it's,
bop.
it's a great jingle.
Jing.
It's a great fucking jingle. Hell yeah. Before we get into one more thing I forgot to mention. This week I finally watched Squid Game.
Yeah.
It's the new Tiger King. Everyone's fucking watching it. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'll hop on the bandwagon. How good can it be? It's really fucking good. What
Is it
what
worth
a
it?
compelling. It is worth
Yes.
it. It is a insanely compelling show. I loved it. I thought the themes are really timely for the way the world is right now. Acting fantastic. Though I will say, so Joseph, you watched it.
Yeah.
There's an episode that has some VIPs.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're acting. They're like Americans. Their acting is absolutely horrible, and their dialogue is horrendous.
The dialogue was so bad.
It's
They play
so
like American
bad.
characters.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So like
that's
it's a
probably
Korean. So
why.
it's a
Is it
Korean
'cause
drama.
it's a Korean show, understanding like American?
Yeah, so they just
maybe?
brought in. I don't know where they found these guys, but holy fucking shit! It just took me out of it so hard. Just saying like the most obvious dialogue. It's just like, just shut the fuck up. All right, I don't want to see
Yeah. It
main
was
characters.
pretty cringy, pretty like, I don't know, cookie cutter
Yeah,
dialogue.
Oh, I feel
from them.
like that's a lot of like American shows who just like distill a culture into like three things as well. You know?
Yes.
I'm sure
Yeah.
like those cultures are, like fucking really like.
Well, it
you're gonna
wasn't.
say
It wasn't like they were like making fun of Americans. It was just like what they were saying was just bad. Like the dialogue was written poorly.
Yeah.
So like that's the only part of the show I just did not like at all, and that kind of took me out of it. But besides that, fucking fantastic. Something else interesting too is this is the first time I've ever watched anything Korean. 'Cause I mostly watch anime, obviously. I didn't realize that Korean like characters have like so many circles in them. Like I don't know if you remember Joseph, like when you see like this, every they put the name of the show on the beginning of everything,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of circles like in Korean characters, which is pretty neat. Uh,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
their writing is very, very interesting.
hmm But yeah, fucking watch it.
You haven't
It's a
seen
really great show.
Parasite?
No, I need to
Oh, you
watch
should
it.
see that.
I'm scared, Joseph. I heard it's scary. All right, and
It's
or
it's
unsettling.
it's on. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's scary. It's like, have you seen like Get Out? It's a
No,
thriller.
I haven't seen it out yet either.
It's a thriller. It
Yeah,
like
I'll
Uncut
watch it.
Gems.
I'll watch it.
It's like saying Uncut Gems is scary.
Yeah,
You know?
I like that movie. I'm never watching it again. Uncut Gems is getting me so fucking
Yeah.
stressed out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very tense.
Yeah, I definitely need to watch it. I definitely want to watch more Korean stuff now. Yeah.
Well,
Very, very good.
who was it? Tim was saying that the guy who did Squid Game is the same guy that did Snowpiercer, right?
Oh yeah, because that's originally isn't it based like is it based on a book? I can't
Yeah.
remember. Or no, maybe the director.
Or no, it's the guy who did Parasite.
Parasite. Yeah, the guy
Snowpiercer, my bad.
Parasite also directed Snowpiercer.
Yeah, so like that's I mean, it's not obviously the same, but it's a similar. I've heard it's a similar style to like Parasite
Right.
and like just Korean writing in general.
Cool. Yeah, so watch that show. But that's enough in the top here. Let's get into the meat, or the plant-based meat of this
The
episode.
Satan, if you will.
The Satan. Where do you want to start with this? Should we start with me showing up dating? Because I was the first person to get there.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so this weekend, we had the big old Pax Family Farm cider squeeze. How many years have they been doing this for, Dayton? Do we know? It's like the 35th annual or something like
No,
that.
it's like 22nd maybe. I don't know.
22nd annual
Yeah.
Pax Family Farm cider squeeze. So yeah, I drove up there after I had class in the morning. Got in around 5-ish, or maybe it was before 4:30-ish. And I roll up to the house. I'm like, so excited. Gonna see Dayton. Gonna see Jan and Ralph. I walk in. Dayton's there, and I'm like, great to see you, Dayton. Where the fuck is Jan and Ralph though? I'm trying to see the real people I came here for. And of course, they're off at dinner with some of your relatives. But yeah, so Dayton and I had to figure out the dinner situation. And turns out when you have 8 people trying to get a reservation the same night when it's family weekend and homecoming for Hope College in town, you're not going to be able to get anything. Dayton called New Holland Brewing to try to get us a table, and we were trying everything, but could not secure that. So we got some pizza and got some beer, and we had a little dinner at the house. Which is a good time. Got to see Josh and his wife hanging out with us, and then the rest of us and Emily and Joe's girlfriend Alyssa. So, yeah, it was good to see you all right in the bat there, and then pretty much just talked to Jan and Ralph until I went and saw the movie, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And we had that Papa Romano's pizza,
Mm-hmm.
very tasty, and then we went and saw Dune. So yeah, we can start with that. What did you guys think of the movie? Go with Joseph first.
I mean, I enjoyed it. There were a couple things I was expecting that didn't show up, but for the most part,
They
I-
cut my favorite scene from the fucking book. Just
Yeah.
gonna say.
Gabe's
Yes.
pissed.
But in their defense,
I understand why they cut it.
it is a very difficult scene to translate to film.
Yeah.
Because all of it,
It's
most
like
of it,
internal monologue.
it's all internal dialogue. So it's like, and also like this book is I think it's all from just Paul's perspective, isn't it? The book is
Pretty much. I mean, there are chapters that are
There's chapters where it changes to like the Harkonnens' point of view.
Oh,
the
that's true.
doctor.
But for
Yeah.
for the most part, it's one character's point of view. So there's a lot of internal dialogue, and so it's hard to translate to film. But I thought they did a very good job of explaining things to people who haven't read the book, that they gave them enough that it's not so confusing. Because the book
Yeah.
it's confusing and they don't tell you a lot in the beginning and shit just kind of happens. And you're just kind of like, okay, guess this is a thing. And then they kind of explain it 3 books later. But
Yeah, I think Villeneuve definitely expects you to listen carefully.
yeah.
And for that reason, I just fucking want subtitles in theaters now because I'm dialogue, which is very quiet.
I think
It's
that
like,
was the issue with like the mixing, because there's definitely
yeah,
times where the background music like overshadowed dialogue, and it would be like ripped right from the book, so it's like fancy,
hmm
and there's made
Yeah.
up words because it's a fucking fantasy, sci-fi book. So there's a bunch of like made up words and culture like stuff, and it's just like it's kind of hard to hear it when I'm hearing the desert sounds,
yeah.
desert
I think
music.
he definitely took a page out of Nolan's book there. Not for the best, but
Yeah.
like there was a scene with, and it's not really a spoiler because it's the most popular thing, but there's a scene where a character is reciting the fear is the mind killer speech, and it's like, I know what you're saying because I've read the book, but if I didn't know what you're saying, I cannot understand a word you are
Mhm.
saying right now because it's so fucking quiet.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Dayton, what do you think?
I thought it was all right. Yeah. I mean, like, I had some gripes with the ornithopters.
Oh my
Um,
god.
God fucking damn it!
Did you see the thing that did Emily send you that
Yeah,
too?
Emily sent it to me,
Yeah.
and
She
I
sent
was like,
it.
I feel attacked right now.
It was like I think the tweet was like taking a woman in engineering to a movie to enjoy it, but then they spend all their time focusing on the actual practicality of the aircraft in the
Yeah.
film.
Yeah, because for anyone who didn't see it yet, there's these aircraft called
Ornithopters.
Ornithopters.
ornithopters. Thank you.
They look like
That
dragonflies.
they're dragonfly, but they have like hummingbird style wings, where like they're really really fast. So they have, like
Hmm.
4 of those, and I think they look fucking awesome. But of course, Dayton over here is just shitting on the design and saying it has
Yeah.
no durability or whatever.
Well, he's right. I mean, he's not wrong. But they do look cool. But
They look
Yeah.
badass.
Yeah.
They're sick.
Yeah. But I mean, aside from that, like, uh, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to put. I haven't really thought about it that much. I don't really think too much about movies, to be honest. Uh, yeah. I mean, it was entertaining. I'll say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. It's weird watching it, have like knowing what's gonna happen. It's like these days when I watch anime when I've already read the manga, it's like I can't tell this is good or not because like I know what's going to happen. So like the
Right.
nothing's a surprise. But
Hmm.
I think just speaking purely from a like cinematography, production design, audio perspective, just absolutely incredible. Like Villeneuve is like the best at that. If you've seen Blade Runner 2049 or Arrival, um, very similar kind of design principles there. And I think like the score in particular was really awesome. They had some cool uh, there's like a female chant that happens a lot. That's really cool. I've seen it in some of the trailers, and just how they designed like the shields and the ships and how they did lighting. It was incredible. So very excited. They've already greenlit the second one. I don't know why fucking Warner Bros. Didn't just let him shoot them back to back because
Yeah.
having to like
yeah.
bring them all out to that
Go
on
back.
location again
Yeah.
and do it's like what the fuck. Like I understand like Blade Runner 2049 like didn't really do well monetarily, so they probably were hesitant about it. But yeah, so that's a bummer. But we'll get the second one at some point. And I've said it before, but I think the casting was immaculate. I think they absolutely nailed all of the characters. And I think the acting was really good too.
I think they did a good job of capturing the main themes of the book. Like, sure, they skipped, they skipped things here and there and they glossed over stuff, but like the big ideas of like, you know, where they first show you getting the spice from the sand and like that whole ordeal with that, like they made a big emphasis on that and like the ideals behind the characters, which I think was really important in the book. I'm
Hmm.
glad that they like brought those back and like made it's like, okay, yeah, we can't do everything, but we could at least show what what their ideals are and what the mindset is for
Right.
every character going into this, whether we can show everything or not. But like you really got like the themes were were similar to the book, and I think they did a good job of expressing that.
Yeah, I agree. I've heard a lot of like just people's reactions online saying like, yeah, like I've never, even people like were totally unfamiliar with source material, were able to follow it. And a lot of people want to see it again. I do think that as much as Villeneuve didn't want release on HBO Max, that helped it a ton. So I think a lot of people watched it that wouldn't have gone to theaters to see it. So I'm sure that helped with them greenlight the sequel too. But yeah, no, it was really good. I know you guys were fucking around with the chairs a little bit during the movie, right?
Those are nice
Oh, I was
chairs.
giving Emily so much shit. It was so fucking fun. They had like massage buttons on it,
And heat.
the
apparently.
buttons are to your right, and I was to her right, so it was to my left. That's how that works. So the buttons are like right there. So I just like like at any random point in the movie, it's like and bam, and your chair's shaking. It's really fun.
Well, because we were at like the what would you call it? The Snooty Theater in town or whatever. That's what Josh was saying.
Yeah, it is.
It's like the fan, but it's like it was nice. I mean, they had beer, which was nice, but
Mhm.
those chairs are a little much. All right, I don't need two different ways to lean it back and also massaging and heat. That's just
I
I'm
feel
like
like
you're doing too
they
much.
weren't that expensive for tickets though. It was
They
Yeah, it was only
weren't.
$10.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would assume it'd be like 14 or 15 for that kind of
that
stuff.
was a pretty
but
good deal.
Yeah, it was a nice little theater there. I liked it.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, went back to the house and then we pretty much just went to bed, right? Because it was already like 11:30 midnight.
Yeah,
at that
because
Yeah.
we're old.
point. Yeah, we all had a big day.
We
we
all
all-
traveled that day.
Mhm.
Yeah. We all just slept in the living room. We had a bunch of air mattresses and shit and couches, and Dayton slept on a chair because, that's what he
I
wanted
like
to do.
the chair. The chair's
Likes
good.
the
It's a good chair. I've
a good
fallen
chair.
asleep in that chair before. It's a top tier chair.
And then woke up the next morning and Gabe roped us into a run. You want to talk about that, Gabe?
Yeah. I like to try and work out a certain amount of times a week, and because I went to Seattle. You've listened to that episode. If you haven't, go check it out. Tons of cool shit. And then I went immediately into this travel for we recorded the podcast, and then that next morning we traveled. So I didn't get all the workouts I wanted, and I was like, I totally talk people into this, and if I talk them into it, I have to feel like I have to do it,
Mm-hmm.
like I'll be forced to do it socially. So I convinced Jacob to bring his shoes, convinced Dayton to slow down for us. And it was actually pretty cool. I expected it to just be like, let's go around a couple of farm fields or whatever, but there's like a outdoor, I don't know, what is it called? Adventure?
Yeah, it's called the
Discovery
Outdoor
Center.
Discovery Center.
Discovery, that's what it is. Yeah, it's just like kind of like a big park, really.
Hmm.
Just kind of got to do that. I'm glad that Dayton was guiding us because there was a few things he did for his 3 mile loop that I was like, I don't fucking know.
If
I don't know.
If Dayton would have just like sped ahead, me and Gabe would have been lost in there for hours. Like he took
Yeah.
us up to some weird path, and I was kind of had it in the beginning, and then I got totally lost in the middle
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, we just like stumbled upon a bunch of birds. That was kind of neat. And a bunch of
It was
like birds
cool,
in
but also
captivity.
scary. Yeah, it was like birds they rescued, right, Dayton?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
birds
so-
of prey they rescued.
Yeah, so they're most of them are like birds of prey that were like hit by cars or something like that, and like they can't fly anymore, or they have like brain damage, and like they can't survive out in the wild. So it's just like a rehab facility, for like end of life essentially.
Yeah,
Yeah. So they had like
They
owls and
ran
An
up
eagle
upon a
and
bunch
stuff.
of scary shit.
yeah,
Mhm.
the vultures in particular. I'm like, I don't need to see these. That's okay. I'm good.
I thought they were pretty cool.
I'm glad you weren't there, Joseph, because I think you would have been starting to slander. Birds aren't real at these.
I mean, I don't need to run past a bunch of drones, so
Well, the
I
drones were in
recognize that they're
captivity.
cool models, but
Very lifelike, I will say.
Yeah.
Uh,
It was a good excuse to take a break too. Not that
Yeah.
it was tight or anything.
cold
Yeah.
air wasn't getting to you. Then.
I think I realized pretty quick. So I seems sound really dumb. I got shin splints walking in Seattle because I just walked a ton, and I bought these tennis shoes that I still wore today, even a year ago, and they've been like my daily drivers for close to a year. And I put so many miles on them. The support is just blasted. So I had really fucking bad shin splints by the end of the run, but besides that, it was honestly like super chill. I didn't feel like I was really like dying at any point.
Yeah, the temperature was perfect.
It was really nice. I was super sweaty by the end of it, but that's about it.
Yeah, then we got shit when we came back because like me and Gabe were sweating and Dayton just like, oh yeah, it's like hanging out basically. Somebody gave us shit for that. I don't remember who it was.
It
But
was Ralph for sure.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely something my
Yeah.
dad would
that was
do.
Ralph. Yeah.
Well, I sweat so easily all the time too, so I was just a mess. Like I had sweat running down everything. I mean, even the gym that I went today, I just did leg day, and I was just dying. I just sweat so much.
Yeah,
It's
I'm in the
gross.
same boat. Mostly because I'm super hairy, but yeah.
Yeah.
Joseph, what was going on at the house then while we were away?
We were just showering and finishing up breakfast. While you guys were doing that. Nothing too crazy.
Wasn't there a big event that occurred?
Oh, I was
Yeah, he's like
Yeah.
feeding you.
I know I totally blocked it out. So we've been talking about right. We mentioned this on the podcast, right? Or like
No,
talking
yeah,
that
I don't think we have.
okay. Well,
No, because Dayton's sister listens to the podcast.
yeah. Oh, that's true. So we had talked about it offline, but there were talks of Dayton's sister getting proposed to by her boyfriend at the time, Charlie. And so they're walking, so like we're eating breakfast, right? Which has a view to like the front yard. And I kind of look out the window and I see them walking towards like the barn. And I was like, I kind of nudged, because it was Emily and Alyssa and I. And I was like, kind of nudged them like, hey, you think what I'm thinking? Or is that, is it going down? And we saw that, Jan was out in the barn, doing whatever. And I was like, Ralph, get Jan out of there. Like, it's going down. And Ralph's like, oh, you're right. He's like, Jan, get back here. And she's like, what? I'm doing stuff. He's like, get over here. I need you for something. And she's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Classic, like, just oblivious. And so Dayton's sister and is got proposed to, and so I guess she said yes. So we witnessed them walking to the start of a proposal, and then she came back with a ring. So she was pretty excited about that, and very I could tell relieved that there was nobody else around. Charlie, he had mentioned like, yeah, I was planning on doing it while everyone was here, but I decided not to. And she's like, yeah, I know. Thanks. Like, I would have hated that if you did that.
Yeah.
So
Well, didn't
it
she
was-
like kind of know that we knew? Did she had like kind of a inkling that we already knew ahead of time? I feel like she said something along those lines.
Could be.
Anyway.
I don't really remember.
Yeah, and then
but
we
either
were-
way, so there's a new member we somewhat witnessed a new member to the Pax family. So
There you go. And then we're pretty much. Oh, we did a beer run. Which
Yeah.
was pretty uneventful. But then we were into the squeeze. So I don't know how we want to talk about this. I'll throw it to Dayton first.
Oh man, I don't know. I'm like
We
my
sat.
my
well, we got back from the beer run, and Max and Kenzie were back. So I
Yeah, they just
immediately
got there.
iced them.
Right.
yeah.
Had to do it.
Mhm.
But yeah, Dayton, your squeeze experience much different than the rest of ours because you had to
My-
do a lot of shaking hands and
Oh
talking to
my
people.
gosh, dude. My
Running
squeeze
around.
experience is literally like, so like imagine you are a golden retriever and you see a squirrel. Now imagine that you're a golden retriever with 2 brain cells and you see 50 squirrels. That is literally my squeeze experience. Like if I'm like talking to somebody, I can't be there for longer than like 5 or 10 minutes before somebody like comes up to me and is like, hey, like, how are you doing? Like, long time no see. And then we start talking, and then another 5 or 10 minutes, and then start talking to somebody else, and another 5 or 10 minutes. My dad's like, hey, Dave, can you help me do this one thing? And I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. And then before you know it, it's fucking like 5 o'clock, and I'm like, where did all this time go? and
Mhm.
I've only drank like one beer. Like, what the fuck am I doing? And yeah, so I mean, it's always really fun, and I get to talk to a lot of people, but it's literally just a day that is just a complete blur for me. Like it just feels
You
like
just
I
described Thanksgiving, but like in a different.
This is way
earlier
more
time.
people though. This is
Yeah.
like,
yeah,
I mean, we're
and it's not
talking.
just family either. It's like family friends that I
Yeah,
haven't
that's
seen
true.
in like a long time, so I have to like catch up with them and yeah.
So how's Connecticut treating you?
Yeah.
It's snowing there.
Dude, one woman, we were all just sitting around talking. One woman goes, "Oh, hey, Dayton, you have a girlfriend yet?" Just like straight up.
Dude, that was savage.
So funny. It was
That's
so
like the
funny.
first question.
I think that was my aunt who asked that.
Oh, dude, that was so good.
Yeah, like so. Meanwhile, so Dayton, every time we look at him, he's talking to somebody else. Meanwhile, the rest of us are kind of just standing in a circle, drinking and eating and stuff. And I was trying to do the rotation of beer, hot cider, food. Because beer to get me drunk, hot cider to keep me warm, and food to keep me full.
Mhm.
And I'll just say it now. Over the course of this day, many, many people, came and went. This is the most crock pots I have ever seen in one location at one time in my entire life. Okay, this is just peak Midwest shit. I mean, what do you guys think? Like 30 to I was thinking 30 to 50 crock pots. Maybe
No,
that's a little
there's
too high.
no way there is
There was not
that many
30
crock
crock
pots.
pots, dude.
I don't know,
Bro,
man. That's what
wow.
it felt like. There was a lot. Josie, with you on this?
There were
There was
so
not
many crock
30.
pots.
There was like
I think
maybe 10.
I was gonna say
was more
maybe
than 10.
I was gonna say like 15.
Okay, yeah.
Let's
maybe a
meet
little
at
more.
20. But there was a
No.
lot of goddamn
There
crock
were
pots.
there were so many.
Every person who like got here, got in the car, holding the crock pot. It was just so funny. Thought that like the generator was gonna blow. But the food was fucking good. I mean, I didn't eat. I mostly just ate the cowboy beans and that buffalo chicken dip. God
That
damn,
was
that
really
shit was
good.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Those vegan beans, man. I think I had 3 bowls of just the beans.
I think there was so many like classic Midwest shit. I mean, first off, you're in a barn, which is like
Mhm.
perfect setting. So much
Sitting
flannel.
on straw
So much
bales.
flannel.
Sitting on
Yeah.
straw bales. So much flannel and so much beer. It was just and crock pots too, obviously.
Yeah, and just like
They were-
Midwest ass people.
It checked all the boxes. Yeah, and there is some of like Dayton's family and friends that are just like the definition of Midwest. Yeah, you live in Michigan. Like,
Well, so then your dad came over, Gabe.
yeah, that was pretty fun.
Mhm.
My dad and my stepmom swung by. It's only like an hour and a half, hour 45. Well, with all the construction, much longer. But
Mm.
it was fun to see him, and definitely weird to have like that collision of groups of like my friends and my family. But I think it was fine. It's a little weird, but
Yeah, I mean, we met
know.
before on spring break.
yeah, and I feel like we all like hung out with each other's parents at this point, where it's like not
Mm-hmm.
a huge deal.
Mhm.
So it's cool to see him. He gave me shit as usual. I gave him shit as usual. I don't know, goofy conversations for sure.
Yeah, like assessing the barn and shit. I remember being one of
Dude,
them.
my dad was so enamored by the barn. He just built a barn, so I feel like he's like a little jealous he didn't make it the old-fashioned way. They don't make it like they used to.
He was like carbon dating he's like, oh, well,
Yeah.
you can tell it's that old because of the fasteners
Yeah.
they use here. And I was like, yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. It's just not something I'd look at.
Yeah, no, he's very much that way. I mean, he's just like the generic like engineer where he just loves like dissecting when things came about, how they came about, like all that fun stuff.
Like
So,
building and shit, yeah.
yeah, I mean, and he wanted to make a wooden barn, I think, but he ended up doing the metal one because I mean, wood is ridiculously expensive right now.
Mhm.
So I think part of it too was like, man, I want a wooden barn. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was fun. It was fun to see him and just crack some beers. Don't get to see him a whole lot. Don't get to see
And
Kim
the
a whole
cider.
lot.
That
so
cider was fucking delicious. The hot cider, oh my god.
that was really good.
Especially
I
when
mean,
you
it was
added,
freshly
like,
made
Half a
by child
bottle
labor.
of Fireball to it. And it got really good.
There was one point in the day when we decided to take a little break So most of us went inside and we watched some I Think You Should Leave, as we do. This is the point in the day when Jan was getting pretty drunk.
Oh my god.
And she's like, "You guys watching porn up there?" And like that was her like go-to joke like the rest of the day.
It was raining like all day on and off, and then we decided there was like a break in the rain. So like, we're gonna make a fire. Fires are warm because there's a little chilly in the barn, and we get it off the ground, and then it's just fucking raining. Like, fuck this, let's go inside. Warm up a little bit, go back out, and Jan had to badger us.
Yeah, she got very, very drunk in the middle of the day, which is
so
always
funny.
We were up by the fire for a long time. We went back outside, and I gotta say, we're up there longer than maybe we should have been, because I'm gonna keep bringing this up. It was like, I don't know, let's say like 9:30 or whatever, and we're all sitting out there, and the fire's like getting pretty low, and I'm like, okay, it should get down pretty soon, then we'll go inside and we can just chill. And so we're all just like standing around, and Dayton was the main fire master. He was in charge
It's
of
his house, it's his fire.
Yeah, and Dayton was away for the moment, right? I think people were away, and we were just kind of chilling.
No, I wasn't away.
He was there, dude.
I was literally standing right there.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you had walked away when this happened.
No.
He's the warden of the poker.
So I'm sitting there thinking, we're gonna go inside soon. This is great. Eat some little more food or something, And all of a sudden, I see two massive logs get thrown on the fire from next to me, and I'm like, how much longer are we gonna stay out here for? I say that out loud, and I look over, and it's Dayton's brother-in-law, who had just been kind of like just quiet, and like he's fine, he's a nice guy and everything. He's been kind of quiet, like hanging around, not really saying much.
Because we're a bunch of young, stupid people being
Yeah,
stupid.
we were being very annoying all day. But she just hucks these massive logs on, and then goes inside and doesn't come back out. And I'm just like, dude, you just added like 2 hours to this fire, and you just left. No one approved this. No one was like, hey, this fire needs some more logs. Oh my god, so we had to stay out there for a lot longer. But yeah, I was upset. I was upset. But yeah, Jan
that just cracked me up.
Yeah, it was funny. But Jan made some of her famous popcorn, and we eventually went inside and munched a little more. And I threw on some Cowboy Bebop, because when you give me the remote, I'm gonna put on anime. That's a pretty like easy show to watch. You don't have to pay attention too much. You can just kind of stare at it. So me and Joseph were vibing at the end watching that. Joseph, you were pretty wasted.
Oh, I was slam hammered, and it was good to watch Cowboy Bebop.
Because you were drinking those like 9% Monacos that Alyssa bought, right?
I was finishing hers off because I didn't want hers to go to waste. She already opened it and she was laying down to go to bed. So I was like, all right, I'll help her out.
You had like a 3/4 beer in the morning.
Yeah,
Wasn't
because
it
I
your
was
beer?
trading between them. I was rotating.
Okay. Equal
And
wear.
I had 2 beers plus her drink. I had 3 drinks that I was rotating between while we were watching Bebop.
Like I said, can't let it go to waste.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, any other like stories you guys want to talk about from Saturday? I kind of just ran through the whole thing, but
I can never talk to my cousin and have him not offer me a job. every time that I run into him, he's like, oh, so you still doing that whole submarine thing? And I'm just like, yep. And he's like, interesting. How long do you think submarines are gonna be viable? And I'm just like,
the end of
forever?
time.
Yeah, like as far as I know, I don't think
As
they're really
long as
going
there's
anywhere.
water?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, interesting. Well, if you want a job, just let me know and I'll get you hired, no problem. And I'm just like, is it still on the east side of Michigan? He's like, yeah. And I'm just like, nope.
What does he do?
and no, thank you.
What does he do exactly?
He's a materials engineer as well.
Okay.
Except he works with polymers. So
he's like, we're one and the same. He wants to.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't
Awesome.
want to move over there at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this like Metro Detroit?
Royal Oak. Yeah.
Sorry.
So, Dayton, I was thinking about this after the fact. Is that the cousin that gave you a bunch of brooms?
No, no, it's
Because I
not.
remember you saying, "Oh yeah, I've got a cousin who he graduated a couple years ago, and you like had a bunch of old, I say a bunch, like maybe 4 or 5, like old brooms that you were
Oh
using
wait, or
for a
was
little
it
bit.
him? No,
My
I don't think
relative
it
together went to
was.
tech.
At least
Yeah.
I think you used it second year, I think, or
Yeah,
maybe you just used it to like model off or whatever.
yeah.
I don't
So
remember exactly, but I
I,
do
I,
remember you.
yeah. So I have two. Well, I had three cousins that went to Michigan Tech. Um,
Mm.
the brooms that I got were from a cousin from the other side of the family that he also went for materials engineering. Um, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I broke like most of his sticks.
Dude, tech runs in your blood.
They just weren't very
I do
well
remember you
constructed.
breaking a lot of sticks
Yeah.
for some reason.
Well, yeah,
Like
it's because I was using
your
all these like
old
hand-me-down
ones.
sticks that like
Yeah.
just weren't constructed using modern technology, using electrical tape and just making beaters.
Those wooden handles get brittle after freezing and thawing for so long.
hmm Yeah,
Well, then he
I
just
didn't know you had
clapped
so many
those
relatives that
over.
went to tech. Was that
Yeah,
like
man.
part of the reason why you decided to like go there?
Um, I mean, to be honest, Michigan Tech was the only place I applied to. I didn't even really look at any other schools. Um, I mean, I guess like I just kind of knew it was right for me.
Oh, dang, I had no idea. I found out my uncle went there like after I'd already been there for a year. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even know that. All right, cool.
Yeah, and I've had like a lot of like I mean my dad went there, my uncle went there, my aunt went there. Um yeah, so yeah, thoroughbred.
Because and Joseph, didn't he try to offer you a job too?
Yeah, he was trying.
Same
He was like,
places.
I did my time in Royal Oak. I don't need to go back there.
We're good. Yeah. No, it was a solid day. I feel like we were probably being a bit obnoxious around Dayton's relatives, but that's pretty par for the course for us.
Whatever.
Eh,
It's kind of
everyone was
our
drunk.
huh?
Yeah. Yeah, then Sunday we kind of all just got up and ate breakfast and got out of there. That was pretty much it. I don't think there's
Hmm.
anything crazy that happened. I will say when I was leaving, I'm like, okay, I got to make sure I get my beer. And that's at like noon essentially. And I was like, oh man, it's a Sunday and it's noon. Like, is there a chance liquor stores are closed? I don't know what the deal is around here. And I went back to Kings Cove and they're like, now we open at 9 a.m. on a Sunday. I'm like, hell yeah. This is some Michigan shit right here.
Well, it used to be you couldn't get it till after 12 on Sundays.
And
But
actually
that was a while ago.
in
Probably over
Holland,
10
they
years
in Holland and Zealand, they used to just not sell liquor or like any sort of alcohol on
on
Sundays.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember waiting in a parking lot with my dad at a Meyer on a Sunday a couple of times as a kid. And I'm like, why the fuck are we waiting? I said fuck as a kid. Why the fuck are we waiting? And he's like, I gotta get my beer, damn it. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. I think.
Gotta wait till noon.
Makes
Yeah,
more
so
sense now.
I knew those laws have existed before, so I was worried. I'm like, I might be able to get it, but we got it, boys. We got the good stuff. Yeah, that was pretty much it. I mean, nothing like super crazy that happened.
Yeah, there was no like breakaway, like this is the story that we're gonna tell. I feel like
Yeah.
it was so fun.
I will say Jan was on my ass on Saturday night for never helping with the actual squeezing of the apples. I was telling her like those damn kids were always on it. All right, I'm not gonna tell them to stop playing around with the cider machine. I mean,
Cider
who am I? I'm not a
machine.
monster.
Item machine.
They were having a good time. It's fine. Uh, but she's like, that's how people get uninvited from the squeezer next year. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was good. So yeah, that was our adventures from the squeeze. We actually did finally take new pictures of the four of us, so I'll probably post that on Instagram this week. You
So,
guys
yeah,
to
I was
see our
kind of
mugs.
banking that being the Instagram post
Yeah,
for this week.
that'll be the pick. Finally, a updated picture that's not almost 3 years old. But yeah,
Yeah.
we had a good time and excited to do it again next year.
One final thing that I thought was cool, but apparently no one else did. On our drive back, we took a semi-scenic drive because I think Saugatuck's a cool area to drive through.
Hmm.
Just south of Holland where we were. So I was driving through, and out in front of me turns a fucking Rivian truck, which like they just started filling orders like this week, last week, I think. So that was kind of cool to see just driving on the road. It wasn't even like I would expect it somewhat in like Chicago, especially since we went downtown to drop Emily off, but like just in fucking Saugatuck, Michigan, like just a Rivian on the street. I was like,
That's nuts.
oh, that's fucking cool. I like Rivian. I've kind of been following them for a while.
What's their deal? I haven't heard of them before.
I mean, they make, well, right now it's just a pickup truck. It's like a mid-size pickup truck, so like Ford Ranger, Toyota Tacoma size. But they're like they're marketing as adventure vehicles, so like they have a lot of things that are pro like overlanding and like car camping. So like I'm trying to think. They got air suspension so that you can like raise the ride height very easily. Full size spare. Like you get it with off-road heavy tires. It's got an air pump or air compressor in the truck that with a hose that reaches all four tires. So if you get like, I don't know, if you need to air up your tires, you don't need to go to a gas station. You got a compressor.
Cool.
There's a flashlight in the door that you can just take out, so you've always got a flashlight. Like it's just they've been, and then there's what is it? I forget what they call it, but like between
like
the
cargo
like
tunnel
bed
or whatever.
and the cab, yeah, there's that cargo tunnel, and they sell this like camping setup. It's got like a stove, like an electric stove top, a sink, and like some other things. And like this is kind of what their is. Yeah, there's a
Right.
bunch of customization available for it. It's pretty cool. I've been following them for a number of years, and will jerry rig everything. If you follow, excuse me, his YouTube channel, he put his like a deposit down for a pre-order 3 years ago, and so he's been like pretty amped about it. He has a really good video. They take it like rock crawling, and it's got like 4 independent motors for each wheel, whereas like Tesla usually they're dual or triple motors, and, so it's like
Is it
one in the
electric?
front. Yeah, it's full electric.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's one of the electric, and then they're also coming out with an SUV shortly after.
Okay. So like the Tesla for hardcore off-road
Yeah,
types.
and like they're backed by Ford, so Ford kind of gave them some like development money, so they got a big foot off the ground, and Amazon actually. So I think they're making like electric fleets for Amazon too. So they've been getting quite a bit of backing, and it's kind of one of those like they're not an established car company, so they can kind of like, yeah, let's see what fucking works. They don't have like design requirements based off of like previous models or anything. Because like the new F-150 Lightning, it looks like a Ford F-150,
Right.
and then they just put batteries in it. Whereas this, they don't have. It's like Tesla, in that
Things are what they
sense.
want. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
really cool. All electric
So yeah,
future,
no,
baby.
I mean, I think I remember hearing about them when I was in high school, like just starting out developing stuff. So it's been cool to kind of watch them come through and actually now have vehicles on the road. So it was a cool ending to the squeeze for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, well, that's all for this week's episode. Thanks for everyone for watching. As always, follow us on socials and stuff. Check our description for all the information. But until next time, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Peace.